All right, people, your boy Man Mike coming at you guys with two. They definitely not special guests. All right, I'm 1/3 of the heavy hitters. I don't know the guy beside me. Who is this guy beside me, man?
It's your boy. We back at it again, season 2. Atlanta Falcons Nation Heavy Hitters. It's your boy Jew, aka the voice of reason, aka the minister, and all of that juju on that beat. We back at it again. The season is season 2, week 1. The Philadelphia Eagles on deck. First home game of the season. Hey, I'm ready as ever. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super hyped to see what this Atlanta Falcons team is going to be this year.
Absolutely, man. And he looked a little bit perturbed right about now. Look, he got a scowl on his face like he game ready, boy. look at him. Hey, man, let the people know who you be, man.
I want to say to people, my bad, technical difficulties. Hey, what a way to start. If you know by now.
Absolutely. I swear I forgot about it. Oh, man.
It's your boy KStylzz, a.k.a. the 6th man, a.k.a. the fat man. Joshua, but McClure, I like that. He said 6th man Jamal Crawford. I take that. Appreciate
you. Hey, yes,
what's going on, people? Do I need to play that note again just to be on the safe side?
Yeah,
hey, yeah,
absolutely.
I got a new one for this season.
Oh, really? Hey, he got a new tool for everybody. Hey, man, I love it, bro.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
I know I've been hella busy. I totally forgot all the news. I gotta go through the screen again, but it's one that I really wanted to talk about and kind of give people up to date on this particular move. Is the Falcons deciding to bring back Cordarrelle Patterson and put him on the practice squad? Is anybody really surprised by that? They released Sam Jones, Cordarrelle Patterson to the practice squad, James Waters to the practice squad. Obviously, you know this, but those are the most recent moves. But the depth chart is out. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, not a whole lot of surprises. Look at Jalen Mayfield for the most part. He's a big starter. And Arthur Smith pretty much came out and stated that he has, his full confidence. You look at Caleb McGarry. Is Caleb McGarry ready? There's always a question mark there, but KStylzz, go ahead and let everybody know who that tight end number 2 is. It's kind of funny. I think they got us on the surveillance or something, bro. They got everybody on the surveillance or something.
Hey, bro, I don't know, man, but I want to ask everybody a question, and all the people that are real AFN fans here. What's the one thing that I always say about your boy Keith Smith? I want to see if anybody remember what I said about Keith Smith. I'll give y'all a second. Let's see if anybody gonna pop up.
Right. He said he saw.
Right.
Wow.
Not just that, but I ain't say that either.
He didn't say that one either.
I said release Keith Smith.
Oh, damn, boy, y'all way off, boy. Okay, he does all that. He can't block, and he ain't really got hands like that. King Kel kind of hit it right there on the mark, just a little bit. The main thing I always said was Keith Smith was the third tight end on his team last year. Guess where he had on the depth chart? He's the fourth tight end this year.
The man actually listed as a tight end, bro. He's listed as a tight end. That's crazy. Like I said, I think they've been watching AFL.
Yeah, I wish I had the video on here, but this ain't the computer I got it on. So yeah, yeah. I said I always made the joke and said Keith Smith was always the third or fourth tight end on this team, the way they were throwing him the ball. Like I said, now he's the fourth tight end.
That's crazy. It's crazy how that came about. But the depth chart, you have Calvary, obviously a starter. Russell Gage is starter. Olamide Sakis. This is I don't know if this is maybe not, but the left guard, the backup left guard is Gossett. Obviously you got Lee Smith. That's actually the Falcons. The depth chart is this is weird. But I guess it isn't in a way, but they listed as two tight end set. Like that's the base formation for those guys. The two tight end set is the base formation, which is really strange. It kind of goes into what we've been saying, why we got so many damn tight ends on team. And we know why, because that's the base formation. So
my bad. Aurelius here with Family Feud. Mike, come on down.
Come on down.
My bad.
We can go on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Grady Jarrett, Tyler Davidson, Jonathan Bullard, Jacob Tutuimere, the outside linebacker with Dante Fowler Jr., Adekumpo Ogundeji, who he's backing up, Dante Fowler, Etheridge, Michael Walker, Brandon Copley, and another odd one is Jacob Tutuimere as the backup to Brandon Copeland. So it's like it's weird the way they got it set up, but surprised by the depth chart, to be honest. Like reading off, I'm not really surprised by anything.
Go ahead, Drew.
Nah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it was no surprise to me. From what I've seen, I mean, you guys know if you'll go back and watch any of the shows that we did previous, pretty much everybody on the O-line, was pretty much what I stated. The wide receivers, we pretty much knew what the deal was. And we knew what the deal was at tight end. Like, we knew that this was going to be a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. That's the reason why we took Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst, those guys to play together. And they've been saying that. Both of them guys have been saying that when they talk to Hayden Hurst during training camp, he's like, it's not really a number one tight end because both of these guys are going to be on the field together. So you basically can say both of these guys are starters. Mm-hmm. So wasn't really too many surprises on the defensive side of things. There was a couple surprises, but not too many. Just the base package, I think, will be the 3-4, 4-3 multiple. But I do like what they did with the defensive line because you guys know I'm big on stopping the run. And I like Jonathan Bullard because he has size to set the edge as a defensive end. Because really, in most defenses, he's a 3-tech or a guy that you can kind of scheme for him to play like the nose. But in this defense, like when we're in that 3-4 base, you'll see him out on the edge, setting the edge. And he did a good job in the preseason. Like he was very disruptive. Is stopping the run and causing pressure, like pushing the pocket. Another guy is Marlon Davidson that we need to look out for. Marlon Davidson didn't show up in the starting lineup, but I think as the year goes on, if he continues to impress like he has in training camp and he can stay healthy, I think he can push Jonathan Bullard for that defensive end position, that starting role in the base defensive set, because he's another guy that can push the pocket. he was an absolute beast during the preseason. They couldn't block him. I know he was playing against a lot of number 2 and number 3 guys, but he dominated those guys, and that's what you're supposed to do. If you want to be a starter, you got to dominate the lesser competition, and that's what he did. Pretty much every time I seen number 90 on the field, he was dominating the inside. So I love what Dean Pease is doing. We know that our linebackers are elite. To me, we have one of the deepest linebacking cores in the game, so no surprises there. And then in the secondary, I've been saying it since we picked him up. Fabian Monroe, I figured he would be that number 2 corner because of his experience. Yes, maybe one of the younger corners can compete for that outside position eventually. Maybe Kendall Sheffield gets healthy and gets out there. But right now, I think he is going to hold down him and AJ Terrell is going to hold down that outside corner. And I can see Isaiah Oliver moving all over the place, but he'll be the guy mainly at the nickel. And then these young guys, they got to continue to develop. You guys know we got a lot of young guys on that secondary. So no real surprises. As far as the outside linebackers go, he already touched on it. Dante Fowler, I figured he would be the guy because he has the most experience at that outside position. But as far as on the other side, they're basically competing. Because I seen Steven Means' name, I think, as like the starting outside linebacker opposite of Dante Fowler. That was a little bit of a surprise. But it looks like they went with a lot of veterans. He's a veteran guy. You know what he brings to the table. But the other guys up under him are going to have to push him for that position. Like the Ogundejis, he's going to have to push him. Jacob Tuioti-Mariner. If those guys come out and ball out, we can see that change. Because we know from week to week we're multiple. So I don't make too much of a big deal out of who's starting because they're going to be specific packages for these guys. Like Brandon Copeland is going to be certain packages where he plays. Ogundeji is going to be certain packages. So I don't think that Steven Means is going to see the majority of the snaps. I just think in certain like base defenses where we're trying to set the edge, stop the run, he'll be in the game. But when it comes to like third down pass rush, I doubt you see Steven Means out there. You're probably going to see Ogundeji or Jacob Tuioti-Mariner because to me, those guys are a little bit quicker off the ball. But other than that, I mean, just a touch. I try to just touch a little bit on each position. Pretty much no surprises. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, and we're deep. Like our team is really, really deep, especially on defense when it comes to talent. And a lot of unknowns. Because I don't even know what John Kaminsky was on the depth chart. And he's another guy.
It's the rotation behind Bullard.
Okay, behind Bullard. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of guys. These guys are going to have to go out there and prove it. Like, it's not over. Arthur Smith talked about going out there and competing and taking somebody's job. That's going to take place in the games as well. Whichever players out there making the plays will get majority of the snaps. And I'll leave it at that.
KStylzz.
You know what I'm going to say about this? Why are we even looking at the positions?
Right.
This is going to be a positionless defense.
That's it.
I mean, like I said, and Drew kind of hit on the point as far as with it being a lot of veterans starting. If you look at how they position the backups, like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of these players are multifaceted players. So, like I said, even though Steven Means may be the starter, at outside linebacker, certain packages, he may be defensive end. Like I said, we don't know. The main thing about this defense is you're not going to know where guys line up and what assignments they're going to have. I think the one surprise that I did have was more so of I say TJ Green as like the third, fourth corner. I think that was kind of surprising to me. But like I said, he's listed as a defensive back, so he's a corner / safety. Isaiah Oliver, corner / safety. Richie Grant, slot corner / safety. But the interesting thing I say about this is I don't see a Kendall Sheffield name on here. Do you see a Kendall Sheffield name?
Falcons, yeah, when I see it on the Falcons, he listed as the third. I'm on the Falcons.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at it. He's like the fifth or sixth corner. So
yeah, so he's buried. Yeah, he's definitely buried.
He's literally assed out. Let's be real. He's assed out over here. And then as far as offense, like I said, Keith Smith, we know tight end, but you gotta look at it like this: they're the backup tight ends, but they're also fullbacks. Lee Smith, fullback. So it's multifaceted positions everywhere here. It is just going to be based on the matchups that they play or whoever team they play. Like I said, and it's going to be kind of different to see Grady Jarrett as a 3-4 end. It's going to be kind of different. But it might help him a lot because it might allow him to get to those guards, go through those guards like he's normally used to.
Yes and no. Yes and no. That's why I said with Dan Quinn's defense, it was already it was really a hybrid 3-4 anyway. So it's like now it's just he's gonna have like more freedom to move about the defense. I think that's what's like we should look more so this for Grady Jarrett. Where are those mismatches for him? He's going to be that guy that creates that mismatch inside they're going to allow those one-on-ones because Jacob to Mariner, like he's a guy that can win one-on-ones. Dante Fowler obviously is a guy that can win one-on-ones. So it's like that's where, and Bullet, I think Bullet is going to be a really interesting guy. I think he's going to be a vital part because the way I saw he and Monty Davidson together and those pressure packages, man, I was impressed. Like I knew Bullet had that skill set, but the way he was getting after it, Taquan Graham is another guy. He's listed as the backup behind Tyler Davidson, but it's like he's a guy that can penetrate. He's actually a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's close to 300 pounds himself. What sees the nose is like the interesting thing about him is he's one of those guys. He's not as big, like at Tyler Davidson. And I did a video about this a while back, maybe a year ago, when I was talking about having the days of having these 340-pound defensive tackles in the middle of the defense is no longer necessary. They're being replaced by guys who can sit. They're not easily movable, and they can hold a point. I.e., a guy like what's the guy for Denver? I believe he went to the. But the white guy, Denver.
Oh,
no. Wolf, yeah, him. Wolf is the guy that he's great at setting the points. Like he's a run stopper. Like that's what he is first and foremost. But he's not a big guy. And I went down the list. If I can find a video again, I went down the list of a lot of guys in the NFL that aren't necessarily big guys, but they do a great job of holding the point. And that's where the NFL is going with guys like Taquan Graham, Tyler Davidson, and like I said, me personally, if I had my way, I could understand why offensive, defensive coordinators are going from, because most of those guys aren't getting penetration, and penetration with these mobile quarterbacks who can move around is key. So I think that's the reason why you don't see guys like Snacks, seeing him retire. Like he still got some, I think he still got something left, but like he's being replaced by these young guys who can hold a point and they can get penetration. So I think that's where things are going with a lot of defensive linemen. If you can't get penetration in this league, you're pretty much no good for any team, to be honest. So it's like I really like Taquan Graham. If he can keep putting on a little bit more weight, if he can get to 305, I'll be comfortable with that. But him, I think he's like 295, almost 300. It's a little light for me, for my liking, but he's great at holding the point, and like he's one of the guys that he's not easily moved. He does not easily move. So for me personally, like I said, obviously Dante Fowler, but one guy that I think we're going to continue to keep an eye on, and I think he's going to be a superstar. And KStylzz, you get ready to sing your song. But out of the Kumpo, Ogundeji, I think this dude is going to be a superstar, man. Just looking at what I like most about him, and this is the first thing me and KStylzz, when we saw him, we said, damn, this dude got some great hands. That's what I love most about him. His hands are amazing. So, like, that's why I think he's going to be a hell of a player, because you can't get your hand. His arms are long as crap, and he has great, like, you can't touch him. It's like Aaron Donald. It's like, they like Bruce Lee on the football field. You can't touch these dudes, man. And that's the same thing with Grady Jarrett. You can't touch Grady. His hand, you see, he almost ripped Chuck Smith's arms out of his socket, bro. Like, you can't touch these dudes. So I like the rotation. I really love the rotation of players, and that's where we, as far as fans is concerned, don't look at that one guy. We got that one guy can get after the quarterback. I say two guys, Dante Fowler and Grady Jarrett. But when you look at this defense, look at this team in its entirety as a unit, instead of looking at these guys. All right, the Rams have Aaron Donald. All right, you know what I'm saying? But after Aaron Donald, it's a huge question mark. I don't think that is for the Falcons. I think Marlon Davidson obviously going to be a good guy. Get after the quarterback, but Fowler and Ogundeji, them dudes, they don't slack off. So I like what I see. I like what I see from this defense. So rotation.
Should I do it?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I told you so. I told you so. But I would say one thing too, and I'm surprised I didn't bring the name up. And I'm looking at this depth chart. There is an X factor here that we're not talking about right now.
Oh yeah, dang.
Michael Walker, bro. Like I said, he might be one of those guys that just line up anywhere. I'm just gonna let y'all know that now.
Mm-hmm.
He's the backup middle linebacker, but we've seen him play outside too.
Mm-hmm.
So I want y'all to take a look at that. I want y'all to pay attention
Michael
to
Walker. There you go, Michael Walker right here.
Michael Walker twin.
Exactly. Oh shit! I'm all out of focus. I guess I should have told him I told you so, because it knocked me straight out of focus.
I told you,
God.
Let's get into the things, man. We're gonna do a little bit of something different than what we usually do. Not too much different, but we're kind of this year we're gonna go not only for the Atlanta Falcons, but we're gonna do the opposing team also, the keys to victory for those. And for the fans from those teams, we want to kind of be able to give you guys a little something. So we're going to start with Jude, give his 3 keys to victory for not only the Atlanta Falcons. Well, we'll just start with the Falcons first, and then we'll go to the Eagles.
Okay. So y'all know I love 3 keys to victory. I always end up with about 5 or 6 keys to victory, but I'm gonna try to limit it to 3. So for Atlanta, our keys to victory in this game. First off, KStylzz is gonna know what you putting on the t-shirt. I'm gonna say it in my KStylzz voice. Run.
Okay.
Finish it. Say it, KStylzz.
Run the damn ball.
That was in my keys to victory every time last year. Go back to Heavy Hitters season 1. Run the ball. Run the ball. If you run the ball 20 to 25 times, you shorten the game. You keep the opposing offense on the sideline, and they're not coming back. Last year, we had a couple games where we had leads. Last year against Dallas, we had leads in all of the games early. Last year against Chicago, if you run the ball, even if your defense is terrible, if you run the ball, you shorten the game. The clock is what matters once you got the lead. And that's been Atlanta's problem since the Super Bowl. Run the ball. If you run the ball, you kill the clock. I don't care how good Tom Brady or any quarterback is. They can't do nothing once that clock hits 0-0. So keep them on the sideline. So in this game, run that ball 20 to 25 times. Keys to victory number 2 in this game. Motion. On offense, we know that the Eagles have a great defensive line. So it's going to be very important for misdirection. If you go back to that play where Kyle Pitts had that 27-yard gain in the flats, I believe it was Russell Gage coming across like on a jet sweep, and Kyle Pitts ran the other way. He went behind the line and ran opposite of the way that the line was moving. So guys' eyes were going everywhere. They didn't know who had the ball, what was happening. So misdirection is very important in this game. When you have a good defensive line that you're facing, you have to have misdirection. Last year, we know that Dirk Cutter was very cookie cutter with his offense. It wasn't enough motion. If you look at the teams in the modern NFL, the Sean McVays, the Kyle Shanahan's, and the West Coast offense, even if you go back and look at the Tennessee offense, that motion is key because it keeps you don't know where to key in at. Your eyes is going everywhere. And the Philadelphia Eagles have a young secondary, young linebackers. So they're very aggressive, but they don't know where the ball is. So they're going to have to freeze. And when you freeze that one moment or take that one false step, you're beat already. You can't recover. So it's going to be very important in this game that if they're trying to tee off on Matt Ryan or they're rushing upfield, because we know they have a really good defensive line, the way that you slow down that pass rush is running the ball in misdirection because they're not going to know what player has the ball. And Matt Ryan is really good in play action of hiding the football. So they don't know if he didn't kept it, if he handed it to the running back, if he handed it to the guy that's coming on the jet sweep. We want to keep those guys' heads spinning. We want their eyes going all over the field, not being able to key in on who has the football. And then my third key to victory in this game, and this is going to be a really, really simple one, is complementary football. If we play complementary football in this game, we win the game. I say it every year. There's 2, 3, 4 plays in the game where you're either going to win the game or you're going to lose the game. So that's a block field goal, a block punt, a fumble, a key interception, complementary football. If you have the lead, run the ball, smart challenges, because we seen last year where our coaches were just doing dumb things like challenging plays where you could clearly see the guy was out of bounds or the guy, whatever. It wasn't a good challenge. So in this game, it's gonna have to be complementary football. Play smart in this game. And if we do those 3 things, I really think that the Falcons can win this game really easily because the Eagles are a very young team. They have a new coaching staff as well, and they have a young quarterback. So I really think in this game, the Falcons can win this game handily if we just do those small things. So run the ball on offense, Arthur Smith, motion on offense, keep those guys guessing of what we're doing, and 3, complementary football. We do those 3 things, we should win this game handily. And I'm going to kick it over to KStylzz.
Yes, sir. You already know. All right, so KStylzz 3 keys to victory. Okay, so I know a lot of people are kind of worried about this offensive line matchup against this defensive line matchup. I know we're kind of going to hear it all the way until game time. There's one way to neutralize that, and that's to get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hand with the quick passing game. That's what you must do. Like I said, 2-step drops, little hooks, digs, whatever, screen passes, whatever. Get the running backs involved in the passing game. That's part of the quick passing game. Like you said, that's the only way you're going to build the confidence of this offensive line, like I said, with Jalen Mayfield starting, with Matt Hennessy starting. You got to get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands in less than 3 seconds. You got the tight ends to do it. 2, you must, and I repeat, you must get off the field on 3rd down. You must. Because the thing about, like I said, with Jalen Hurts, like we know he doesn't have the experience. We know he's a mobile quarterback, but do not give him the confidence to play well. Get him off the field on third down. 3, if this is going to go to the coaching side with DPs, which I know he will do. You must. I repeat, you must. I'm going to say it one more time. You must. You must do different things on defense. Don't get caught doing the same shit. Like I said, we can blitz, but blitz from different spots to where you can confuse him. Because Jalen Hurts right now is not a guy that's going to be reading all 3 phases of the field. So you want your pre-snap to be different from your post-snap. Because that's how you create turnovers. Bam! That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah. Hey, man, you guys, you pretty much covered a lot. My 3 keys is pretty. Mine is obviously based on a lot of chemistry. So, like, chemistry for me, it starts with the offensive line and establishing the run. All right, like you said, you got to establish the run. But instead of the run being the focus of the running backs being the focus, the offensive line is the focus for me at the running game. So it's like, in order for you to really not only keep Matt Ryan healthy, but if we're going to be a successful team this year, the offensive line has to come together fast. And the fastest way possible is with the running game. Like you said, you got to extend the games. When you got a lead, you got to be able to extend games and not give them opportunities to get in rhythm. Whether it's a young quarterback or a veteran quarterback, these quarterbacks are being taught by, some real intelligent, smart offensive coordinators who've been in the league for quite some time, and they have a history of doing well. So it's like, in order for the Falcons to be successful, they got to establish the run game with their offensive line. Number 2 for me is, I think this goes into chemistry also. Well, it does go into chemistry, but you got to cut down on the early penalties. That's first and foremost. We cannot get into a penalty game early in, because we got to establish the fans. We got to get the fans off of this negative vibe. So in order for them to not get caught up in, oh man, we could just go suck. Oh, here we go again. I don't want to hear the here we goes again. So we cannot come out with a lot of penalties early, and a lot of that goes to nerves. So for me, the 2 guys that I'm going to keep an eye on is Hennessy and Mayfield for those reasons. Because the nerves. Once they establish a run, establish that short passing game, like Kevin was saying, it all goes up. It goes uphill from there. So it's like, for me, cutting down on early penalties, and the third one, and Kevin kind of went into it, but getting Matt Ryan to a rhythm. Matt Ryan gets in the rhythm, you already lost the game. I'm just like, you in for a long, long, long game if Matt Ryan is in the rhythm. That's the last thing that you want from any quarterback and Matt Ryan's caliber, is to get them in the rhythm, because you can send blitzes at Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is one of the best quarterbacks under pressure. Him and Tom Brady is damn near impossible to stop when they have time in the pocket. So
the only thing that works right didn't get you an Ethernet cord connected.
Oh, I'm about to say, I thought I was. I thought we been abducted by aliens or something.
Look, I'm about to say anime. Hey, look, I'm about to say anime had to. She had to bring my feng shui candle right quick.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know I ain't been abducted by aliens or something.
She talking shit about my computer being shit right now, so you know how that goes.
Yeah. but yeah, it goes into, like I said, Matt Ryan, establishing him, getting him in rhythm. So it's like for me, man, it's all about Matty Ice. All right, we can keep saying that over and over again. We're going to do the Eagles, and we're going to go at Jew. Going to start it out. Now let's just start out with Kevin, then we go to Jew. Okay. As far as the Eagles, keys to victory.
You said start out with the 3 keys for the Eagles?
The Eagles. Yes, for the Eagles.
Okay, so if I'm an Eagles fan and I'm looking at 3 keys to victory against the Falcons, the number one thing I want to do is I got to roll out Jalen Hurts. I got to roll him out.
Mm-hmm.
I have to roll him out. I have to do something like that. Because what you want to do is you want to simplify the plays for him. You want to simplify the calls for him, but you want to put him in a position where he doesn't have to think too much. Because remember, Jalen Hurts went through the whole, okay, he's going to start here. Then he got benched. So we don't know how that relationship with that team is going. And we see how crazy that coach is over there. It's on some ridiculous shit. So I wanna make it easier. Like it's the same thing we said about Matt Ryan. You want Jalen Hurts to get in that rhythm. You want him to get outside the pocket, use his athleticism. Okay. Mm-hmm. Second is special teams. Jalen Reagor. He's going to, like I said, in order for the Eagles to beat the Falcons, the special teams gonna have to take over. They're gonna have to get some good field position to where you'll have confidence in Jalen Hurts to do his thing. Now, like I said, I would normally go with defense. Like I said, everybody knows the defensive line. I'm not even gonna go with defense like this. My third key for the Eagles will be Goddard and Ertz are going to have to be your main primary focus. Because those are your big bodies. And you want to get your big bodies involved as much as possible. Because they got a lot of small receivers. And that bumper run coverage against them guys might not be a good idea. They might not be successful at it like that. So you want to attack the middle of the field. That's where the most question is going to be at as far as the Falcons defense. I'm going to end it with that.
All right, so keys to victory for the Eagles. If I'm the Eagles coaching staff, first off, y'all know where I'm going. Defensive line. KStylzz didn't go there, but I'm going there because y'all know that's how I get down. It all starts in them trenches. And if you can't block, go ahead, KStylzz.
No, I was about to say, you see that alley-oop I just
passed? I see. I appreciate it, Six Man. You threw me that alley-oop. Hey, you threw me that alley, and I'm finna Blake Griffin this thing. Hey, look. That defensive line, man, it start with Fletcher Cox and them boys up front. We knew last year from the Falcons O-line, we're known as a finesse and soft team. So I want to see if Arthur Smith and his coaching staff has toughened up this Atlanta Falcons team, because a lot of teams are walking into our building saying this is the same soft 4-12 team from last year. So they're going to come in and try to punch us in the mouth. And they know that their secondary can't hold up. They can't hold Calvin Ridley. They can't hold Hayden Hurst. They can't hold Russell Gage. They can't hold nobody man-to-man on our team. I don't care who it is. Big play Slay is not trying to see Ridley one-on-one. None of their linebackers can see Kyle Pitts. So they're going to have to muck the game up. So if I'm their defensive coordinator, I'm saying Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, even the linebackers. I don't want those linebackers in coverage. So I'm blitzing. If we remember the game last year, the first game of the season against Seattle, what did they do with Jamal Adams? Blitzed him pretty much the whole game. You didn't see him in coverage. And when you did see him in coverage, he was getting burned by whoever he was trying to cover. So in this game, it's the same thing with the Eagles. First key to victory is pressure Matt Ryan, stop that running game, and make Matt Ryan have to pass the ball. Try to get a turnover, strip sack fumble, try to punk these rookies that we have up front. Hennessy's a first-time starter. Try to punk him. Try to punk Jalen Mayfield, because they've watched tape of our preseason. They've seen these guys getting bullied. So they're coming in to try to bully us up front. So if I'm the Eagles defensive coordinator and the head coach, I'm saying the Falcons are soft. Let's go in there and get after them. Key to victory number 2. If I'm Jalen Hurts, it's the improvising. It's the play after the play. All for them. Because we know that Dean Pease is going to blitz. They know that Dean Pease likes to blitz. The thing about it is that can be dangerous on our side as the Falcons when you have a mobile quarterback. Because sometimes you can run yourself out of a play. Meaning if you blitz and he realizes what side you're blitzing from, sometimes you can leave a gap where he can take off up the field and there's nobody left, especially if we're in man coverage and you're blitzing. Because the cornerbacks, their backs are turned. They're running down the field with the receivers. So if you blitz and you don't guess right and Jalen Hurts realizes, where the pressure is coming from, he can run right through that open gap and get a good 20 to 30 yards because everybody's back is turned to him. They're not, they're running with the receiver. So in this game, we know that our Falcons have struggled the last couple of years against mobile quarterbacks. That's another thing. So if I'm the Eagles offensive coordinator, I'm telling Jalen Hurts, if the play break down or if they blitz you and you see a gap or a crease where you can run through it, first play read, because they're not going to expect Jalen Hurts, as KStylzz was saying, to read, first read, second read, third read. He's not that type of quarterback yet. He's not able to go through his progressions like Matt Ryan, sit back in the pocket. So they're not going to rely on him to sit back in the pocket and try to read where we're coming from, because they know that Dean Pease, his scheme is too sophisticated for him to figure that out. So they're going to say, first read, it's going to be a lot of RPO game, just like they had with Nick Foles. He's the linebacker, you pull that ball, you throw it across the middle to Zach Ertz up the middle, or Goddard up the middle, or to one of the running backs out of the backfield. And that's going to be their game plan. It's going to be a very simple offense. They're actually going to try to do what we're doing as the Falcons. They're going to try to shorten this game because they don't want to get into a shootout with us. They can't outscore us. So in this game, they're going to try to muck this game up and make it an ugly football game. The third key to victory, if you're the Eagles, KStylzz hit it right on the head. Special teams or turnovers. They need to win the turnover battle. So whether they get an interception, a defensive touchdown, a return punt for, a huge return punt or huge kickoff return, they need to score in a different way because their offense isn't high powered. So they can't score with us. So they have to shorten the field. That's a must for the Eagles. And that's pretty much the 3 keys that I have for the Eagles. If they're going to win this game, they have to win the turnover battle. If they lose this turnover, get good field position, it's no way I can see them beating the Falcons because we're too high powered on offense. And Matt Ryan's a veteran in this game. We know that he's a MVP. He has all of the accolades. And we know that Jalen Hurts is still wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac still. So in this game, I'm not too worried about him. And I'm not worried about their offense. Their offense is going to be very vanilla. So don't be surprised. They're a defensive-led team. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm kind of go in real quick. You guys are pretty much dead on it. The first 2 for me, obviously you got to get Jalen Hurts into a rhythm. Like what? That's. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I actually thought it was a complete reach to even draft him in second. He shouldn't have been a first 3-round quarterback. I'm just gonna be real. He shouldn't have been that. He just does not have the arm talent for one, the arm talent. I think he's a bright guy. I think he has tremendous athleticism. But this is the NFL. Everybody is athletes in here, from the offensive lineman to the defensive lineman to even the kicker. We can see kickers out here catching, guys like Cordarrelle Patterson in the open field. So these guys are athletes. I mean, do we got to bring up Young Wei Koo? We see what him do with his crazy kicks and his like I said, he's an athlete. He gets on tackling guys also. So like these guys, everybody's an athlete. So it's like in order to get him the confidence that he needs in the NFL is to get him in the rhythm. And he cannot turn the ball over. You got to take care of that ball. So if you want to help him gain confidence, you got to make him comfortable. And making him comfortable is not having him throw the ball 30 times. If he throw the ball over 30 times in this game, the Falcons are going to – look, that man going to be hurt because this team is fast. And the first time I've said this in quite some time, they're fast and they're physical. You don't want no parts of Fourier and Deion Jones when they are free to roam and do what they do best. Like they're going to be able to create havoc. Like this is what Magnus said. We need to create chaos. These guys are going to be rushing the passer. They're going to be in coverage. They're going to be punching the ball out like Fourier does. Like they got free reigns to be them, and you got free reigns to be a runner as a defensive linebacker, especially with Deion. Like I said, I feel sorry for Jalen Hurts if he's trying to run away from Deion. You ain't run away from Deion, and Fourier is no slouch himself. So you got not only Deion, you got Grady Jarrett chasing you. Look, like I said, y'all gonna have to slow this game down, run the ball, play keep away with those quick passes, and don't get them into a rhythm. Don't let Atlanta Falcons get into a rhythm. It's like I said, it's gonna be difficult for the Eagles to win this game if they get in the passing. If they get in the passing, they're not gonna beat the Falcons. The second one, this is real easy. Fletcher Cox got to come out. He got to come out and set the tempo. You can't let a second year and a rookie, hold you down. You got to come out, establish yourself as a dominant defensive lineman in this league. You're playing against, you got a guy like Chris Lindstrom, and I think he's a Pro Bowl talent, but again, Hennessy is still young. He's still a young center. So you got to bring it. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I know for sure Grady Jarrett ain't going to be held by no second year or a rookie defensive lineman. So Fletcher Cox, this is all on you. You got to show up, get at least a sack, and you got to live in the Falcons backfield. That's just, in order for y'all to win, you got to set the tempo. And third for me is, I think this is probably the most important for them. They linebackers is ass, man. I'm just gonna straight up say it like that. They are straight up ass. I don't know any of these guys. I gotta do some film work on them. But I know Dorian Etheridge, but these dudes, just look at these names. Like let's be real. Do you know Jannard Avery? Do you know Eric Wilson? I may have heard of Eric Wilson. I'm not exactly sure. I may have heard of Eric Wilson.
Yeah, he the only one. He played with the Vikings. He's the only veteran on that.
Okay, all right, that's the thing. Yeah. And Alex Singleton. Like, come on, bro. Like, you got these guys covering a guy like I'm not even saying Kyle Pitts. You got this guy on Hayden Hurst. You got these guys on Hayden Hurst. Man, look, they linebackers better. They better eat some Wheaties. They better put on some magic cloak. They put some, sprinkle some magic dust on them or something because they're gonna get ate up all day long if they can't cover Hayden Hurst. And I'm not even gonna bring up Kyle Pitts because if you can't cover Hayden Hurst, you damn sure ain't gonna cover Kyle Pitts. So they linebackers got to bring it. And those are my three keys, man. And you got anything else to kind of add to that? We'll just go on to the latest news on this guy.
I got one more thing I want to add, Mike. And this is just a guy to look out for the Falcons. And he's not a well-known name because he's a rookie. Kenneth Gainwell, the running back for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that KStylzz would love because he's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he's one of those guys that a lot of people don't know about. But coming out of college, he was a really good running back. And I thought that the Falcons should really take a look at him in the draft. So don't be surprised if you see a guy named Kenneth Gainwell doing some things out there on the field. And if they want to have any chance at winning this game, him and Miles Sanders are going to have to be the reason those guys running the ball and catching the ball out of the backfield. Good luck with that because we have, to me, the best linebacking core in the league. I don't think you're catching too many passes against Deion Jones in the flats and doing something with it or Fourier because we got some great athletes, and Michael Walker and these guys, we have great athletes. So I think this is just a mismatch for the Eagles in general. I don't see them getting it done. But Kenneth Gainwell is a guy that a lot of people might not know as a household name, but he's a guy that can really play.
Oh, yeah. I want to add one more thing, too. And I'm surprised I didn't say this earlier, but the number one thing the Falcons need to do, 7 points. Not 3. 7 points. For, hold on, I ain't said this in a while. For 60 minutes, we can't be kicking field goals. That's the main thing. We cannot be kicking field goals out here. If we kicking field goals, like I said, especially against a team like Philadelphia, even though, like I said, we're expecting to beat the shit out of them. If we kicking field goals against Philadelphia, see, now you're bringing them closer into the game. Now they going to have the confidence to say, I'm going to make the play. So Falcons must score touchdowns. They cannot. I don't want to hear Young Wei Koo's name 7 times this game. I need to hear him about twice.
Right.
That's good.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. You can't be kicking field goals. You got to get touchdowns. You cannot get field goals. Like I said, I love Young Wei Koo, but I do not want to see his face too much. Like, I really don't.
Exactly.
We're gonna go to the next topic and then go into Q&A after that. But woo, I know everybody named Mama trying to figure out, like, bruh. I've been telling people the last thing that you want to do is piss off a billionaire. You don't want to do it. You do not want to make billionaires angry because they are very vindictive and they don't like losing. Billionaires do not like losing. They don't like losing. They take it personally when they are embarrassed and they lose. You do not want to do that, and this is just the beginning of exactly that. And quite frankly, this is what you created this mess for yourself. Like you could have went out like a respectable person and just said, all right, I didn't have to do the things that I did in order to ultimately get what I wanted, and that was a trade. For me personally, I've always stated that if you don't want to be here, don't sign the contract. It's really that simple. If you don't sign the contract and don't give someone your word. If you know you're not happy, don't give your word. If you know you can't do a certain thing, don't give your word. And this is why I've stated all along that that's the biggest reason why that the Atlanta Falcons were quiet. One, they truly did love this guy, because if there's any other organization in the league, they wouldn't have put out. They would have. Look, you know, Jerry Jones loved a juicy story. He loves controversy. That dude loved to be in the middle. Look, he loved to be on ESPN and NBC. Like, he loved that type of stuff. So, like, he loved controversy. Any good news around the Cowboys, he loves it. All right, you can be stealing, you can be kidnapping babies and stuff. He wanted to be. This man want to be a part of it. So, I don't want to. I don't want to go into details. I'll just come out and say it. Julio Jones is in, allegedly, and this is via 92.9 The Game. These people obviously are reporting that allegedly Julio Jones not only cussed out Matt Ryan, in front of his kids. Almost got into a fight, a physical altercation with Grady Jarrett. And Julio Jones is cussing out not only Dan Quinn, but he's cussing out front office man. He's cussing out players. He's cussing out any and everybody. And quite frankly, man, anyway, y'all want to go on to like what are you guys most upset or surprised by? Like for me personally, like I said, I'm not surprised by the Matt Ryan thing because when you're a quarterback wide receiver, you're gonna have those heated moments. So like I don't really take that personal, but I do have an issue when you are allegedly going at it with your defensive players. And Grady Jarrett, we know Grady Jarrett is Grady Jarrett, but like you going at it with Grady Jarrett, bro? Like how do you Grady Jarrett? That's crazy to me. That right there is the most. That right there surprised me out of everything. What about you guys, man?
KStylzz, you want me to take it? You gonna take it, bro?
I'll take it right here and now.
Look at me flipping that.
Go ahead, bro.
Be honest with you. Is Julio Jones still wearing a Falcon uniform?
Yeah. Yeah.
The season has started. I don't give a damn about what goes on with Julio right now. You ain't on a 53-man team. Yeah, I ain't got it. I ain't got the patience or energy to be worried about what Julio got going on. But I will say this. And like I said, we've said allegedly, so like I said, anything could come out and say whatever. But yeah, man, that like I said, if it comes out that this is true, like I said, that image that everybody put on Julio as far as him being like the anti-diva receiver and stuff like that really goes down the drain. And actually, that would actually put him in the category of TO as far as relations with organizations. That was put out by ESPN and all them folks like that say team obliterator type shit. But like I said, he did that. He's in Tennessee where he want to be. He restructured the contract. He wanted to be in Tennessee. I'm going to just say it like this. Do not be surprised. If this comes out as true and wait a minute, I done froze up. Oh, never mind. Yeah. So if it comes out as true and he's going after executives and stuff like that and cussing executives out and Arthur Blank out like that, like I said, do not be surprised Julio goes to the Hall of Fame as a Tennessee Titan. I'm gonna tell you that now.
Yep.
Like Mike said, the key word: billionaires do not like to be fucked with. Let's keep it real. They say you cross a guy that got money like that. Oh, they can make it very hard for your ass to get anywhere in life. I'm just gonna say it on that, man. Go ahead, Drew.
I'm gonna say this when it comes to Julio, and y'all know what KStylzz said. I really don't, care at this point because he's no longer an Atlanta Falcon. But what I will say is, as a superstar player or as any player, this is what I always say: remain humble. Like, don't start reading your press clippings. You have to watch the company you keep. Like we always talk about the Migos, and I always say that the media is toxic. Like, other than underground, even here in the YouTube, you have some YouTubers and content creators that's toxic and everything is negative and stuff like that. But just ESPN and the media, they're always trying to rip teams apart. Like, even with T.O., I don't know if you guys watch. Shannon Sharp has his own YouTube channel, Club Shay Shay. He just interviewed T.O., and T.O. talked about how the media basically blew everything that he did out of proportion. The problem with it is T.O. fed the fire, he basically threw gasoline on his own fires because he didn't remain humble and he did different things in front of the media, like doing sit-ups in his driveway and stuff like that with people outside his home. Shannon Sharp was telling them, like, man, you should have stayed in the house and called the police if they was out there in your front, your front yard. Like, T.O. kind of fed, into the fire of the media, basically threw gasoline on that fire. And that's the same thing I'll say about Julio Jones. From what I hear, they always talked about him being a humble dude. He wasn't a diva wide receiver, but now it's looking like behind closed doors, a lot of that stuff was not true, that he was turning into a diva. But I believe, if you guys remember, I don't want to blame T.O. because I love me some T.O., but T.O. is stubborn. And a couple years ago, Julio Jones was working out with T.O. in the offseason. And then he was hanging out with the Migos and hanging out with this one and that one that's pumping his head up and always telling them how good he is. Like, you're great. You're better than Matt Ryan. You deserve better. You're better than the Falcons. You deserve better than this. And sometimes you start to listen to what people are telling you instead of being who you are and remaining humble, because Julio Jones is not a talker. He's not a trash talker. That's just not his game. So I always feel like this: play your game. If you're a trash talker, talk trash. If you're a person that's quiet and just goes about your business like a Larry Fitzgerald, be who you are. Go out there on the field and do what you do. But I think now Julio has kind of been taken out of his element, and that.
Hold on.
You went. Hold on. You went.
See, I about to say, see who. See, the Julio contractors. Julio trying to put the voodoo on you, bro. Hey, I'm about to say, Quavo Offset came in here and said, boy, y'all better not be talking about my baby like that.
Yeah, man. But like I said, you just got to be careful. Like, when it comes, you have to remain humble. And I think Julio Jones kind of started feeling himself a little too much. And I also think that you have to have a coach that's going to keep you in check. Like, one thing I like about Arthur Smith, he came in setting the tone that my best players are going to be held accountable first. Like, he talked about Grady Jarrett is the guy, and Matt Ryan are the guys, and Calvin Ridley, that they're going to lead from the front. And I feel like Dan Quinn didn't do a good job of holding his superstars accountable. Like, you start to see Julio Jones slip and not have to practice, and, Dan Quinn started to baby these guys and things of that nature. You didn't see him holding guys accountable from the top. And everything trickles down from the top. So when you don't see Julio Jones being held responsible in practice and stuff like that, those younger guys that are looking up to Julio and want to be Julio, they're not going to do those extra reps. They're not going to, because they think that it comes easy. You know what I'm saying? They're going to think it's sweet, as the young people say. So I personally feel like with Julio Jones, he kind of started feeling himself. And I think it was the company that he was keeping. The guys around him, he was allowing people to speak for him instead of him coming out and just stating what it was. Like, I didn't like how it all went down on Undisputed. I didn't like that he didn't just come out as a man and say, hey, look, I don't feel like I can win here. If he would just came out, had a press conference and say, hey, look, I love the city of Atlanta. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. I appreciate my time here. It's no beef with none of my teammates. I love Arthur Blank and the guys that are here, and I thank them for, the contract and everything that they did. We could have went about it a better way. But the way that he went about it, to me, screwed the whole team, because once the media knew that he wanted out, we were screwed. Our hands was tied. We couldn't get that first round pick or whatever we were going to ask for because he came out on national TV and said what he said. So at that, I'm just going to leave it, deaded at that. Like I said, I have no hard feelings for Julio Jones, but I think that he needs to watch the company that he keeps. And you're out there on the football field to be who you are. We all know that you're a superstar player, but now you've put a huge target on your back to go out there and prove that you're still a top wide receiver and that you're not injury prone. Because now everybody got a microscope on his back. He got a big target on his back. Everybody's looking to see, is Tennessee going to be worse with you? Are you going to actually be out there on the field? Are you going to make a difference? Because if Tennessee is worse, he's going to take a lot of the blame. I'm gonna leave it at that.
And the reason why I know this is a subject that everybody want to move on away from it, but it's impossible. It's impossible to move away from it from these reasons. One, what you just said, like, you got to watch the company that you keep. You can't have certain people around you and start listening to the media, feeding into what the media is saying, feeding into what the players, like even the players around you. People are saying certain things. Man, you know what, man, Julio, you can get $100 million. I don't even know why you taking that little deal. When you start to listen and feed into what people are saying, instead of being grateful for what you do have, Julio was named. He was the highest paid receiver in the history. I think he was like the only player at that time to get that much guaranteed money at his age. You don't get that. And so like when you start to be ungrateful as a player and as an organization, you have to learn when this player, you got to see the warning signs is essentially what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So I know everybody want to move away from Julio Jones, but this is a learning lesson, not only from a fan standpoint, because I'm talking to several, people as far as, our crew. We was talking about, we saw it and we made excuses for it. I was one of them. When you just said it, when he hanging out with T.O., that should have been a huge sign. Julio Jones not wanting to even thank his fans. Like that right there is the ultimate disrespect. You can't get any lower than that as not only a fan, but just like a person. When you're not grateful for the people that helped you and they cheer for you, they in your corner, that's disrespectful. That's the ultimate. So as fans, we gotta stop worshiping these players. Let's just be real. Let's stop worshiping these players because these players have faults and they have their own issues. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did as fans. Like I said, even me, I made several videos. Man, Julio, he's a perfect model. He's a role model. He never did nothing to nobody. Blah blah blah. I said that time and time again. We've all said that about Julio, and then here we go. These things coming out like, dang, Julio really did that. He didn't talk to the man that gave him $66 million so he can help change his whole family, his generation. Like that right there, being able to, go to the store and not have to like look at the shelf. It's like, nah, I can't afford that. He like, bro, that's a blessing in itself. Like he don't have a budget. He can go to Kroger's, he can go to Publix and say, I don't need to look at the price tag. I want this, and that's it. That's a blessing in itself. So like when you got those people around you that are like feeding that monster within, that's what the problem. So that's why I say, yeah, this is a sensitive subject. No, he's not on the Atlanta Falcons, but this is something as an organization, as fans, we got to see this stuff before it happens so we don't get attached to certain things and we can, some of our kids may become a Julio Jones and want to, go into the NFL. Like, look, you see what Julio did? You see what this guy did? You see what this guy? Don't do this. We got to be better teachers. So, like, that's the way I see it.
As one more thing I wanted to say about this whole situation, Mike, before we move on, with this whole Julio Jones situation, when you were saying what you were saying, not only is the company that I was saying, watch the company that you keep, but great franchises move on from players all the time. No one player is bigger than the team. We have to remember that. I don't care how big you are. We had Michael Vick here. He was bigger. Like the media made him out like he was the face of the NFL. First $100 million contract, but the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time. But there was a Matt Ryan that came along after him that was just as great. So there's always somebody greater than you. That's something that I'll always, my father taught me, that there's always somebody better. We always talk about Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He's the best, the greatest of all time. But it's always a homeboy that was better than you that just didn't make it. Like it's a lot of, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. It's a lot of guys that are great basketball players, great football players, but they got in trouble off the field or something happened. They got in a car accident. They got shot. Different things happen. So never take it for granted. Like we're saying, we don't know yet, but Kyle Pitts could be the next one up. And we're going to forget all about Julio. Kyle Pitts goes out here and ends up setting records, you know, all those people that was cheering Julio Jones' name and buying Julio Jones' jerseys are going to be, you know, putting on Kyle Pitts jerseys and putting on Calvin Ridley jerseys. So one man is never bigger than the team. And that's another thing. That's why I say you got to watch the company that you keep, because if you look at, you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they dropped Antonio Brown like a bad habit. Like, they ain't care. He started getting out of control, talking crazy, getting in trouble off the field. They moved on. Look, Chase Claypool. You know what I'm saying? You always can draft another great player. So, and that's one thing that New England has been known for, is they're like a factory. They'll move on without you and bring in somebody that can fit the system. They'll get rid of you. So that's another thing. Like you were saying, Mike, about being grateful, is like all these players are one bad injury away from never playing in the league again. That's another thing that we have to think about, because football is one of those sports. Look at a guy like Ryan Shazier of the Steelers, a great linebacker. One hit and it was all over. The man couldn't even walk. He just started to walk again, talk again, and stuff like that. So you have to be grateful, because you never know when your time of being on top is over. It's, you know, it's one split second and everything can change.
I kind of want to add a little something on what he just said there too. Is one thing, especially when you're dealing with public figures like that, is your image and your reputation is the main thing you want to keep sacred. Now, but that's why we're saying, allegedly, if this stuff comes out to be true and stuff like that. Now, Drew just said Antonio Brown, but have you noticed the one continuous pattern? If this is true, especially when it comes to guys that do this and end up on other teams, they start declining, because now the attention is on them now more than it was. Like I said, you got a lot of people say, well, he made Matt Ryan, or vice versa. We gonna find out. And the one thing about prideful football players is they do not like it when your ass is seat without them. Pay attention to that, because now he's going into an issue to where they've already been. Because even when Julio was here, being the best receiver in the league, we weren't really crowned to be that great. You're going to Tennessee now, to where y'all literally one of the top 3 teams in the AFC right now. Y'all are destined to go to the Super Bowl by media standards. It's a lot easier to chase a ring when you the hunter than it is chasing a ring when you're the hunted.
You ain't got no scapegoat in Tennessee. They ain't gonna blame Brian Tannehill. If you start speaking it up when you get injured, like I said, that target's on his back. If you start to get injured, like Matt Ryan's been taking a lot of the fault, you know, over the years. But now everybody know Ryan Tannehill ain't an elite quarterback. So as soon as they start losing, if Julio go down with an injury, his name gonna be all in them headlines of the reason why. Because Tennessee was good without him. So you start losing, you go there and they start losing, they gonna talk about you. You're gonna be the top headline. You're gonna be the talk of the town.
Right. That's a whole nother beast. You have just become Matt Ryan. And you better be ready for it, because if you're not ready for it, he's already shown that he's not built to be, you know, a Larry Fitzgerald or Matt Ryan. He reading. You can see it in his attitude, the way it shifted, you know, from players. He came from, you know, Roddy's sidekick, a humble guy, not saying much in the media, and you know, now it's like he taking subliminal shots at his fans. Like I said, it's not even about the organization, because like I said, it's probably a lot of things that we don't know that they may have said that, you know, that hurt his feelings or something. Then like we don't know, but when you start to again be ungrateful for the people that sacrifice their hard-earned money to watch you, to buy your jersey, to put, like, every time they buy a jersey, every time I buy a Julio jersey, Kevin, you know, Jude, like this, that money goes into your pocket. So you crapping on the people that spent their hard-earned money to put money into your pocket. That's where I have a problem. So when it all comes down to it, man, you gotta just remain humble because you don't know your attitude shift, and when it shifts, that a lot of those eyes that weren't on you before, they start to get a lot
You public enemy
wider.
number one. Tell them you public enemy number one. When LeBron
Right.
left, when KD went to the Warriors, everybody was had their picket signs out. They was ready to kill this man, burning this man jersey, calling him Saul, everything. So I hope he's ready for that energy. I hope he's ready for that.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a lot different chasing that peak when you're the hunted instead of the hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I say on that one, man. Because, like I said, that chapter is over. Like I said, we got the guys we got here now. Like you said, it's not gonna go away. But the thing about it is, we're not gonna put emotional ties and energies and be upset about Julio leaving. Because at the end of the day, this is football. Hey,
that's what happens in football.
Nobody's destined to stay with one team forever. But the thing, like I said, and I'm gonna repeat this again: great players hate it when they get released from teams, and that team ends up doing better without them. That's an ego crusher right there. So remember
Let's go into this Q&A. Let's go into this Q&A. Y'all throw them questions in there, man. But yeah, man. Like I said, man, it all comes down to it. Everything is a learning lesson, and we got a couple of people. I know we didn't do the shout outs that we use, but this is how we do it on the Heavy Hitter Show. We like to get straight into it, get everybody ready for the season. Look, man, I don't typically do predictions, obviously for reasons, because like you can't predict injuries, you can't predict chemistry, you can't predict how quickly they're gonna pick up the scheme. It's a lot of things you can't go in. So, but do we got any questions in here? Come on, people! Like, dang, stop talking amongst each other. Give us some questions, man.
Everybody talking about Julio, man. We didn't got.
They talk about Julio.
Vic changed the culture. We said people. He changed the culture. That's not even true. Vic didn't change the culture. If anybody changed the coach, it was Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders changed the coaches. Like Deion and Dominique Wilkins, those guys brought that flash to Atlanta the way, like I said, what Vic did. He brought those people back. That's all they did. He brought those people back. Deion and Dominique were Atlanta before Vic even got here.
Right. And that, like I said, it was. I would say the thing with Vic is it was kind of like that. Okay, it was around that time. They needed to sell tickets. Let's just keep it real. Vic was there to sell tickets. It wasn't even about wedding women. It was about selling tickets. I mean, if you had because if you actually look at record wise as far as team success, the team success wasn't there. But it was, like I said, it was all about entertaining and selling tickets. And it damn sure worked because all our asses was out there buying his jerseys. All our asses was going to the game. Didn't give a damn if they was winning or not. We just wanted to see him run.
That's it. Let's see him run. Hey, and like I said, I was big as my first game, man. Look, like a lot of people, I didn't grow up with money. So one of my first games ever was the Minnesota Vikings game with Michael Vick, where he just went absolutely crazy. So I was at that game, and that was my first Falcon game. So like I said, I love Vic. I love Vic. I don't think there's anybody who's a football fan to say they didn't enjoy Vic at that time. That dude was just he was just a breath of fresh air. That's what we needed at the time. He gave us exactly what we needed. We need to fill the stadium because after that 98 season and Jamal Anderson, Chuck kind of had a knee injury after that also. The team just wasn't the same. So we needed something new, and he gave us that. So it's like Michael Vick, he's always going to be that guy that gave us exactly what we needed during that time. And he's going to forever be, he's going to be forever remembered for that. But Mandy, who's y'all impact player of the game for the week? Anybody want to take that?
I'll take
Oh, no, I was about to say before Drew take it, I was going to say something on the Michael Vick thing as well. This is just the last tidbit on it. We have to remember, like I said, that this is the difference between us and a lot of the other people is because we show respect to every player that has played for this franchise who has made some type of name here. Michael Vick, like you said, the problem is with certain people is Michael Vick and nobody else. Mm-hmm. That's where the confusion, that's where all the confrontations come from, because you can't say this was the only player that was worth a damn in this whole franchise when you have multiple guys that actually made bigger impacts than he did. See, he just made an impact media-wise, field-wise, and team-wise. Like I said, you had other guys that
Bartkowski, Fowler don't get enough. Bartkowski was our real, true first great quarterback for our franchise, and he's just an afterthought. And guys like Jeff Van Note, Tommy Nobis, it's disrespectful not to even know who Tommy Nobis is. When you're a Falcons fan, I pull your card right off the bat. If you don't know who Tommy Nobis is, you ain't no Falcons fan. That's just straight up.
And then you got the people that says he just got a ton of yards, but goddamn, at the end of the day, those yardage make those playmakers that everybody loves. Somebody got thrown the football. I mean, I ask a lot of people like this: do you want a quarterback that throws 7 times a game? You want a Georgia Tech triple option offense here in the Atlanta Falcons franchise? I don't think y'all want that. I'm just letting y'all know right now. Because if stats is that much of a problem, you might as well throw the whole stat book away and just say, well, all quarterback stats don't matter. But go ahead, Drew. I ain't mean to take up that time.
You're all right. I'm going to answer Mandy question. He says, who's the impact player this week? I'll say it's going to be the tight ends, both Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst, because the linebackers, I don't think the linebackers, I know the linebackers for the Eagles can't cover those two guys. So Matt Ryan's going to have a field day. And Matt Ryan loves throwing the ball over the middle of the field, especially off of play action. And if we do get that running game going with Mike Davis and Wayne Gallman and Cordarrelle Patterson, if we get that running game going and you really don't know, those linebackers have to come up and try to help in that, stop the run. And those guys are screaming up the field. Matt Ryan's going to kill those guys on play action right behind them with Hayden Hurst and Kyle Pitts. So I can see both of those guys having huge games. And even the running backs out of the backfield. I could really see, the tight ends, though. I think the tight ends will be the player of the game on the offensive side. On the defensive side of things, impact players will be the linebackers because Deion Jones, Foye Oluokun, Michael Walker, those guys are just proven playmakers. As much as I love our defensive line, the jury is still out on those guys. I love Marlon Davidson. I love Dante Fowler Jr., but we haven't seen it here in Atlanta. I mean, we know what Grady Jarrett's going to do. Grady Jarrett is Grady Jarrett. But as far as the impact players, the guys that make the turnovers, strip sack fumbles, interceptions, taking it back to the house, the superstars on the defense is the linebackers. Foye and Deion Jones, to me, are the best tandem in the league. A lot of people give the Buccaneers the credit with the two linebackers they have, Levante David and what's the other kid, Devin White. Those guys get all of the credit because they were in the Super Bowl and they were on that big stage. But people forget Deion Jones has already been on the Super Bowl stage. He's had great seasons pretty much ever since he's been in the league. Other than the year that he broke his foot, he's been a top linebacker in the game. He just plays in Atlanta. If he was in a big name city like for the Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, he would be, out there as one of the better linebackers in the league. It's just because he plays in Atlanta, and we don't get a lot of respect here in Atlanta as far as defense or as far as any players, as it goes, as far as with the media. I really think that on the defensive side of the ball, the impact player of the game is going to be those three linebackers, because all of our linebackers are legit. So one of those guys is going to make a huge play. Just watch. Deion Jones is going to have an interception or force a fumble. Foye is going to make a play, or Michael Walker is going to make a play, probably pass rushing, because Michael Walker is a guy like y'all talked about. KStylzz talked about him, and that's KStylzz been talking about Michael Walker since he first came to the Falcons. But he's one of those guys that's versatile. And as a pass rusher, I think that Dean Pease is going to unlock him as a pass rusher, because we know that Dan Quinn had no imagination. He was just like a farmer friend. He didn't use our linebackers in the pass rush. We didn't see them those guys in the pass rush until after Dan Quinn was fired. And that's when we realized, dang, these guys can really rush the passer. All of our linebackers. That's our strength of our defense. So impact players, linebackers on the defensive side of the ball, offensive side of the ball, the tight ends. I think they're going to eat that linebacking core alive on Sunday.
Is this a question everybody's going to get, or you just want to just do individual questions at a time?
You can. If you see a question, you can get one out there. But
you
probably you hit it for.
I'll probably hit this one. It said, "Who's your impact player of the game this week?" I'm gonna say Cordarrelle Patterson.
Oh, that's a nice one. Ooh.
The same reason we gave one of the three keys to Philadelphia is field position. We're gonna need Cordarrelle Patterson. He's gonna have to give us some of that field position. Him and Avery Williams, they're gonna have to give us some of that field position and make it easier on our offense.
I like that.
Because if you get a short field, the run the damn ball philosophy works. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it does.
Because by shortening that field, now your playbook is wide open to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of starting from the 25 or the 9 between the 10s and the 25s every damn drive. Yeah, I want that field position, bro. You know what? I'm gonna throw another special team player in there. I don't know how to say his name. I don't know how to say his name right, but I call him Cam Neasy, the punter. I'm gonna need him to get that get some 20s. Get some punts in the 20.
Nazareth.
Oh.
That's how you say his name.
Nazareth sounds boring. I call him Cam Neasy. He gonna have to get some punts in. A lot of people don't know at AFN. Like I said, I may be one of the only Falcons content creators around here at AFN as well that talks about punters and how important their positioning is too. But yeah, special teams, like I said, special teams just gonna have to be important for us all season, really. But this is gonna be the game that's gonna kind of set the impact. But the Tampa Bay game is gonna be showing us where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I'm looking.
Who do you think is the weakest linebacker? Because even the rookies look good. Man, I think it's pretty simple. If you want to say anybody the weakest at this point is probably Copeland, because he's simply a blitzer. Even though he's a smart, intelligent linebacker, he can play inside and outside. He has limitations, but even his limitations for this defense is something that is important. Getting after the quarterback, being a blitzer that's why Errol Thompson is on. He's not a guy that's going to get out. Like, he's not going to blow you away with his athleticism. He really is not a cover guy, but like even in Dean Pease's system where he's going to constantly have you at attack, that's still important. So it's like, for me, I'll say Copeland.
You said Brandon Copeland?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's tough. That's actually a tough.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Look, it ain't tough for me. It's easy for me.
I want to say, go ahead, Drew. Go ahead and hit that question before I hit
it. Ain't tough. For me, it's Etheridge because he just doesn't have the experience. Like, experience is everything. Like, people don't realize in football, especially playing linebacker, but most positions is about knowing angles. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you guys, I know you guys watch film and stuff like that, but for the average fan, if you don't watch film and stuff like that, it's all about knowing how to take angles. And that was one thing that our safeties last year didn't understand. That's why we got killed so much on big plays like Ricardo Allen. Even Keanu Neal, as much as I like how physical he was, he just didn't understand angles about how to cut a player off. If you go back to that play where Ricardo Allen against the Panthers, where he was like this close to knocking the back, like his fingertips touched the ball, but the guy still caught it. That's just all about understanding angles, knowing where the ball is going, understanding angles, knowing how to get from point A to point B. And I think that's something that these veteran safeties that we have, that's something that they understand. They understand angles. You don't have to be fast if you understand angles. And the prime example of that, if you watch film, go look at Roman Harper. On that 2015 Panthers team. I couldn't stand Roman Harper. I'm like, this dude is slow. How's he even playing in the league? I mean, dude was washed up, but he understood angles. It seemed like he was always in the right place at the right time. If you go back to that 15-1 Panthers team, Roman Harper was always making plays, and he was a former Saints player. And I couldn't stand him because the Panthers always was bloviating about how good he was. I'm like, he just understands the game. He's just a veteran. I mean, he won't do anything special. But when you understand angles, you're in the right places at the right time. You're going to always be around the football. So you're going to get those interceptions that comes off a tip, off somebody's hand tipping it, and you just in the right place at the right time. He wasn't a ball hawk. He just understood angles, understood where he needed to be. So I would say Etheridge at this point, a guy, if he had to play like now, he doesn't understand the game on that level yet. So he definitely would be the weakest link. Even a guy like Earl Thompson we talk about, because he's been in the league a little bit, he kind of has some experience. Etheridge basically is running off of athleticism. If you go look at him playing in the preseason, it would just see ball, get ball. Kind of like how Michael Parsons is playing with the Cowboys. Doesn't really understand the game to his full capacity, but he's so athletically gifted that they just running around like Tasmanian devil out there, just making a bunch of tackles because they're really fast and have that athletic, but they don't really understand the game yet on that level. So I'll say Dorian Etheridge, as far as because of his experience.
All right, before I get to mine, there's two things. Like I said, if anybody is timeouting people and they not disrespecting anybody, y'all might want to calm that down here a bit. Because, like I said, we want people to have their opinions, but as long as they don't disrespect nobody. And two, did you just say Ricardo Allen?
Yep. I brung him up. I know that's a curse word around here, but yeah.
Wow, he really did do that. I bet like this dude here. Really? Like really? That. Really, that was the longest dialogue I've ever.
Because I actually let it play all the way through. but I can see where he was going with Anthony, but I'm gonna go just mainly off the starters. I say Steven Means. Only because we really haven't seen too much of him outside of him being the cheerleader on the goddamn field. But like I said, that's not a bad. We got to remember that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. When you're having a hard time trying to figure out who's the worst, that's a good. That's a good linebacking crew.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, your linebacker core is only as strong as the guys in front of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Them hogs up front will make even the weakest linebackers look good.
Mm-hmm. Without question. Get a little bit of this here. Yeah. This is an interesting one. I'm just gonna say, does Calvin really lead the league in receiving yards this year? I'm gonna say this. I go ahead, KStylzz. Go. I want to think about this for.
I ain't even got to think about it. No.
Exactly.
No. If you want this offense to be successful, Calvin really is not going. It's not going to be necessary for him to lead this league in receiving this year.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
I'm with you, KStylzz. I second the motion. No, he's not going to lead the league in receiving yards because he's not going to get enough targets. And that's why I don't feed into, oh man, this guy had however many yards led the league. Prime example, Michael Thomas a couple years ago, Madden 99 overall. This dude catching 100 slants a game. Oh yeah, man, this guy's the best wide receiver in the game. Come on, let's be real. This guy's being targeted. What, 20 plus times a game? Yeah. If you're getting those many targets, of course. I talked about the Wes Welkers of the world when he was in New England. Nobody ever argued that Wes Welker was the best wide receiver in the game. They understood that he was getting a lot of targets. The offense he was in required the slot receiver to get a lot of targets. There was a lot of short routes, a lot of targets going his way. So that's how I kind of feel about, no disrespect to Michael Thomas or no disrespect to a guy like Davante Adams. I don't think people realize how much Aaron Rodgers throws him the ball in a game. And that's why I've always said Julio Jones, the guy we were just talking about, to me, he was the best, of the last decade, he was the best wide receiver. But people always wanted to look at his touchdown numbers and look at how many receiving yards he had. But I'm like, you put him on a team like New Orleans and he's getting, or Green Bay, where they're focusing on throwing him the ball 20 plus times a game. It all depends on what style of offense you're in. So I feel like with this offense, where it's going to be primarily running the ball a lot more than we've seen, it's not a chance. I don't even think he's going to have as many yards as he had last season, especially now with Kyle Pitts coming on and Hayden Hurst with this double tight end set. And then, like I said, being a primary run the ball first play action, I don't see Calvin Ridley's numbers being what they were last year. Last year, we know Dirk Cutter, that's all he did was threw the ball all day long, 40 times a game. So Calvin Ridley got those numbers because he was getting the ball, and then Julio was hurt. So he was the primary target. And he pretty much got all of those, got all those receiving yards and touchdowns. I think that both his receiving touchdown numbers and his receiving yards this year is going to come down. So he definitely is not going to lead the league in yardage. I see like Davante Adams leading the league in receiving yards, or even somebody like Hopkins, because they throw the ball a lot to him. He's targeted a lot. So those are the two guys that's probably going to be fighting for the league leading receiving yards, because they get the ball and they get a lot of empty stats as well. Because we know the Cardinals haven't won nothing in a long time, but they always have those players that's getting numbers. So I definitely don't think Calvin Ridley's going to get those numbers. This ball's about to be spread around like crazy. With all the weapons we have, it's no way. He doesn't play for the right team to lead the league in receiving yards. If he was on the Green Bay, one of those teams that focus on the focal point as the number one receiver, then maybe. Because Calvin Ridley has the skills, and that's another thing that I want to touch on before you go, Mike. He has the skills if he was on another team. Like, he can do what Hopkins can do. He can do what Green Bay does with Devontae Adams, he just is not going to have the attempts to be able to do it. So I don't see it happening in this offense. Maybe if Dirk Cutter was here, he had a chance, but not this season.
What you got, Kate?
Hey, I'm about to say, oh, you talking about this question or what Jew was talking about?
Just the previous and that one. You can answer both if you want.
Yeah. Remember, the Falcons was 70% pass, 30% run last year. Does that sound like balance to y'all? The damn show don't sound like no balance to me.
Right.
Second of all, like I said, Calvin Ridley, and like I said, y'all both hit it on the nail on the head on that one. This is not going to be the type of offense God damn it, see, I'm tripping. Calvin Ridley is not going to be catching for 1,400 yards. If he does, that like I said, that'll be a miracle. But they're gonna spread the ball around. You have to remember these running backs will be involved in the passing game too.
Mm-hmm.
That's another aspect of the game we ain't even mentioned yet. That's why they brought in Dave Ragone. Dave Ragone specializes in running backs catching the passes, the type of plays that he runs. But Gallman, like I said, he just like I said, the thing is, and Jew hit it with the Etheridge thing, Gallman got the experience. He's got experience running behind terrible offensive lines. Let's get that straight up going on, especially in New York. Worst offensive line in the NFL. He ran for almost 600 yards in that offense alone. So he got experience. I wouldn't say he's the fastest guy, but he's like a multitude type of guy. He's one of the guys that you would love for him to catch passes as well. So, yeah, so they're pretty much bringing in guys that are big, but guys that are versatile enough. But the problem with Derrick Henry, and a lot of people don't talk about Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry is useless in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of hurts Tennessee's offense, because they can run the ball. Think about it like that. They can run the ball, but the problem is if the receivers is covered, but you don't have a running back that's a threat in the passing game, now your receivers get covered. Remember, Ryan Tannehill in 4 playoff games threw for a total of 500 yards. If that is not elite at all.
Ryan Shanahan, that's what his name should be. Because he played like complete shit. And how the hell you have 500 in 4 games? Come on, bro. Matt Ryan would have had that in. Not even Matt Ryan. I think a number of quarterbacks would have had that.
No.
But y'all see another question?
Oh, somebody asked, Chris Dunlap asked, how do you feel about AJ Green in Arizona?
I'm gonna tell you what I feel about it. Can he stay healthy? That's all that matters. Can he stay healthy?
Right.
No disrespect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reason he's not in Cincinnati no more. And I think AJ Green was one of the better. At one point they were debating who was better, him or Julio. He was up there with the Julios, the Dez Bryants at that time, but AJ Green just can't stay healthy. So I don't think that he's gonna have I'm knocking on wood and hoping for the best, but usually if you're a guy that's injury prone, you don't all of a sudden just find a fountain of youth and get better. Like as you get older, your body begins to break down. And that's why I say us getting rid of Julio could have been the best thing that ever happened to Atlanta, to be honest. It could be a blessing in disguise because Julio was falling apart right in front of our eyes. Now, I believe that Julio is a freak of nature and he can play when he wants to play and he can play through injuries and stuff like that. But like I said, every player is one hit away from being done. You know, everybody has a certain number of hits that their body can take. And after that, it's a wrap. That's why we always talk about Derrick Henry. You know, he's been taking, you know, having these 2,000-yard rushing seasons and stuff like that. But when is he going to actually hit that wall? Like, none of us are machines. I don't care how big and athletic you are. Eddie George years ago for the Tennessee Titans was big and athletic, like running over people and stuff like that. And then he had that knee injury and it was over. So that's what I would say about a guy like AJ Green is, can he stay healthy? That's really what matters with AJ Green. He has all the talent in the world, but the best ability is availability. If you're not out there to play, doesn't matter how good you are. We found that out last season with Julio. Yeah, you're great, but you're missing half the season. I mean, how are you contributing towards winning if you're on the sideline? You can only coach so much. I mean, I got tired of seeing Coach Julio. I want to see the player that we're paying to play. We didn't pay him to be an assistant coach or the wide receivers coach. We paid him to play. So at the end of the day, what are you bringing to the table? And that's another reason why, and I hate to go back and harp back on Julio, but that's the only reason why I was saying you got to watch the company that you keep. Because it's like Julio was upset and said he didn't want to be in Atlanta, but was he really contributing towards winning? You know, he wasn't on the field. So with AJ Green, I mean, I just wish him nothing but the best, but I don't see it. I don't see AJ Green finishing the season healthy, because I can't remember the last time he finished the full season, like 16 games, healthy.
Boy, yeah, I say it's been about 6 years.
It's been about 6 years. Mm-hmm.
What you got? What's your take on that, Mike?
Man, AJ done, man. Once you start getting those injuries, you're not coming back. That's just, you know, if you ever get that, you hear about, you know, these rumors about having those so-called, like, I'm probably getting in some KStylzz. Know I'm going when I say this. The mark of the beast type things. When you start getting that, when there's an injury, that's what that is. That's just like a mark of the beast, man. Like, that's the sign of the end times for him. So it's like, you start getting injuries like that back to back. When he's healthy, he's a wonderful receiver. But that's the thing. That's the reason why we ultimately, maybe Julio did feel disrespected because he wanted more money. But it's like, when you look at it from the Falcons standpoint, this is not a wise investment, and that's the same thing for AJ Green. That's why he's in Arizona right now. Yeah, he's not going to be asked to be the number one, but like, even at this point in his career, it's a question that he can stay healthy to be a number two, because number two receivers on the field just as, if not more, than the number one. You know what I'm saying? Even the number three of being the slot guy. So it's like, there's no rest for wide receivers in this game today. So it's like, you either can stay healthy or you're on your way to being a journeyman. So I'm just, nah.
Okay, yeah, my bad, man. I was sitting here trying to mess with some. I'm like, bro, they won't let. I'm about to say, I can't catch a break nowhere, boy. Cameras getting out of focus and shit. I'm like, internet ain't working now. Camera don't want to be in focus. I'm like, damn.
Right.
I'm like, I'm the new bad guy AFN with this shit going on.
Golly.
but yeah, AJ Green. Because it was a point in time where everybody was saying AJ Green was better than Julio Jones. It was getting the same yardage, but AJ Green was getting in that end zone.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, that's just one of those things where you take, like I said, you could take a player's career for granted, and you see where the injuries led. It's like, damn, what if? That's one of the biggest what ifs in the last 10 years is, what if AJ Green would have stayed healthy? But man, main thing about him is he's just gonna be there, like you said, just to contribute, man. They're not gonna expect him to be AJ of old. They know he can't do that right now. Like you said, 600 yards here, 7. Like I said, that's what they're going to expect out of him. But what they're going to really want from him is in the red zone.
You know who he reminds me of, KStylzz? When you were just saying that, Asia Green puts me in the mind of Sammy Watkins. He's another guy that can't stay healthy. He had all the talent in the world with Kansas City, but if you see him since he's been with Kansas City, they don't expect him to. They really count on him in the playoffs. They don't expect him to make it through the full 16 to 17 game slate because they know that his body just breaks down. That's why he's like their third or fourth guy. You know, he had a nice catch in the Super Bowl against Richard Sherman, but he's one of those guys that what if, you know, he was drafted by Buffalo. What if he would have stayed healthy? Sammy Watkins was the guy that played with Hopkins at Clemson. He just as talented, just couldn't stay healthy. So same deal.
That shit crazy. I see somebody asking a fantasy football question talking about who was your number 1 overall pick.
I don't know because I absolutely freaking suck at fantasy football.
Shit, I'm trash at it.
I'm terrible.
I'm absolute garbage at it. But you know what? I'll tell you like this. I'll give you my first 3 picks I picked. Well, my first 4 picks. Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, Darren Waller, and Tom Brady. Those are the 4 best picks I can get. I was absolute garbage after that. Lord have mercy.
I ain't even going to attempt it because I don't know. All right, I'm just going to put it like that.
Only reason I did it was because I forgot I was actually in a league and the draft went by.
He forgot he was in the league.
Hey, I'm dead serious, bro. I don't really do fantasy football. I'll be willing to, but a lot of times I'll be forgetting that, especially if it's like older leagues that I'm used to playing at, and they never hit me. So I'm like, oh shit, fuck it. I was just gonna.
That's me. That's me too.
I see a good question in here, y'all, and I want to hit real quick.
What you got? What you got?
Right here. Dante Fowler. Will he outplay his contract? That's one for the panel right there.
If he wants to get paid, next year. Go ahead, Mike. My bad.
Yeah, you want to get paid, but I don't like. I think at this point in time, when players get at his age, you're not really looking for the contract. You're paying for his service in the league. That's one thing too. When you're dealing with veteran players in the league, you're paying for their tenure, and he's healthy for the most part. When he is healthy, he can still put up some decent numbers. So it's like I don't really care because at the end of the day, defensively, it's all like you're going to get sacks because the guys around you. You're not unless you are a mega star like Lawrence Taylor, Von Miller. I mean, even Von Miller's a stretch because Von Miller's not even Von Miller no more. So it's like it's unless you're one of those guys that's just born to be a passer or born to be you're not gonna get put up these stupid numbers. So like me, I honestly don't even care if he lives up to the contract because at this point you just paying for guys' tenure instead of the production. Because most of the time, like even when you re-sign a guy, you'll get the numbers from a Julio just based on having a quarterback like Matt Ryan. So it's like, did we get what we got from Julio? No. Did we get what we got from Devontae Freeman? No. We didn't get our money's worth from Trufant. We didn't get our money's worth from any of the guys. So it's like, that's why I'm not worried about it. I just rather see what we do as a team. So I say no.
KStylzz, you want to take it before I take it? Because y'all know Dante Fowler. That's my dog. Y'all don't want to talk about it.
That's my dog. I mean, shit. If he wants to get paid, if he wants some more money next year, he's He better outplay his damn contract, because if he don't, boy, this about to be the most money he gonna see for the rest of his damn career. But the issue is going to be with this defense is it's not going to be what, like I said, it's going to be kind of tough, especially to have like one pass rusher to be like super dominant. Especially if he's sending pressure, they're sending pressure from all different angles. Because this is going to be a 3-4 defense, this is going to be a 2-4-5 defense, however the hell y'all want to call it. It's going to be a multifaceted defense. So he's not going to have as many opportunities to really dominate. He's going to have. I'm going to take that back. They're not going to script plays for him to dominate. He's going to have to dominate if he's going to outplay the contract. Because this defense, I'm not expecting one guy to get 16, 17 sacks in this defense. I expect at least 7 people get at least 6 to 7 sacks. Well, 5 sacks. We just put that as a minimum, at least 5 from at least 6 guys. But that's
was nicer than I'm going to be KStylzz. Because I'm finna put the pressure on my dog. Y'all know I love me some Dante Fowler. But because I know what he's capable of, yep, they go to alley-oop. I'm finna Blake Griffin this mug like I did earlier. Hey, listen here. Dante Fowler, I'm looking for 10 or more sacks this season. I know a lot of people are saying like numbers, it's not all about numbers, but this is how I feel. If you want to get back to double-digit sacks, this is your chance to do it. Dean Pease is a defensive coordinator that's going to put you in situations where you're going to be mano-a-mano. Because he's blitzing, that means you one-on-one with guys. If you're an elite pass rusher or if you're a guy that gets after the passer, I'm looking for close to 10 sacks. You don't have to necessarily get 10, but you better be in that 6 to 8 range this year. If you want to get paid by anybody, like you were saying, KStylzz, unless you want to be on vet minimums the rest of your life. But if you want to get another decent contract, Dante Fowler has all of the skills as a pass rusher. It's no excuse. Because last year he was injured, and I gave him the excuse because in that soft Dan Quinn scheme, it's not many guys. I don't care who you get that can get 10 sacks. So we know Grady Jarrett in any other scheme, he's getting 10-plus sacks a season. It's about the scheme. So I really think because of this aggressive scheme, Dante Fowler is going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups, especially on 3rd and longs and stuff like that, when he's going to be out there as a specialist, which Vic Beasley ate. As much as we hated on Vic Beasley, the year that Vic Beasley had those 15.5 sacks, when it was 3rd and long, Vic Beasley got home with that athleticism. So I'm not giving Dante Fowler no excuses. I'm looking for 8 to 10 sacks this year from Dante Fowler. If you could do it with the Rams, this is a similar scheme. And from what I'm hearing, the outside linebackers coach is somebody that's coached the greats, the Robert Mathises of the world, the White Freeneys of the world. So since he's coached those greats, those great pass rushers, there's no excuse for you not to get to that 6 to 8 range or close to that 10 range this year. I don't want to see no more 3 to 4 sacks. And if you're injured, don't play. Because when we see that number 6 out there, because he changed from 56 to number 6, people are not going to want to hear the excuses that I played injured. They're just not going to want to hear it because of the contract. So, yeah, I usually don't like to get down on the players and stuff like that. And I still believe in Dante Fowler, but I'm raising the bar as far as my expectations because I know what he's capable of. If you were able to do it with the Rams, this is a similar scheme to what they ran with the Rams when he was with the Rams in that 3-4 set. So he has no excuse not to eat this year because he's going to be in one-on-one situations. This is not going to be that same soft Suki Hana, whatever you want to call bend over defense, as KStylzz called it last year.
The bend over defense.
There you go. This is going to be a defense where Dean P is going to let you pin your ears back. I never heard KStylzz complain about not being able to rush the passer, not being, given opportunities to be successful. So I'm not giving none of these players that excuse this year because Dean Pease is a proven commodity. He's one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, if not the best. So when you have one of the best and you call yourself one of the best, because Dante Fowler does a lot of talking about he's one of those guys that's about that action. So this season, I'm looking for.
What's going on?
Did I go? Yeah, I just said again. Yeah, I really don't care because I'm looking at this defense like KStylzz. I want several guys with at least 5 sacks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me personally, I don't care about his contract because, like, at the end of the day, you're paying for guys tenure in the NFL and what they've done previously in their career. Like, that's what you pay. Right. You're just hoping that these guys live up to what they once did. So, like, for me, I don't care. I know he can do it, but like I said, I think we have guys like Michael Walker, AO, that are going to be able to step up and kind of, like, put him in a position where he can just come in at fourth quarter. It's fourth quarter, all right? We know that you can get there. We know that we know what you can do. So here's your time. Here's your time. It's fourth quarter. Dante Fowler, go. All right? That's right here. All right? I'm going to call this the slap your ass. All right? I'm going to call this the slap your stick. All right? The slap you stick, all right, for Dante Fowler and that defensive line to get on their ish. All right? When I bring this in out, I need for y'all ass to get on it. All right? Slap your ass. Maybe this will get your ass. Maybe it'll fire your ass up. I'll just say that. Maybe it'll fire your ass up. This is slap your mama stick, man.
Well, my question would be is the incentives, are they really putting this incentives because they believe in him, or are they putting these incentives in him because they don't believe that he'll get those sack numbers? Maybe they think it'll just be an extra oomph.
I think they believe in him. I just think that it's more of go out and prove it. Go out and prove it. Yeah, it's go out and prove it. And to me, to be honest with you, I never believe in guys trying to earn necessarily the contract. Like what Mike was saying, I completely agree with what Mike was saying. You get paid off of what you previously done. You don't get paid off of what you're doing. What you getting paid off what you previously done. When we paid Devontae Freeman, we know he got injured after he got paid, so we didn't pay him for what he was doing. We paid him for making those 2 back-to-back Pro Bowls, and we thought that he was going to be able to keep up, that same pace. Same thing with Dante Fowler. They paid him that money because they seen with the Rams he had that 11-sack season prior to coming over to Atlanta. So they thought that he was going to be able to pick up where he left off. But a lot of the times, and that's why I mentioned this, a lot of the times when players get picked up in free agency, they get paid that huge money, but it's like, do you fit the scheme that you're getting, traded to, or the team you're signing with? Do you fit that same scheme? Sometimes you're better staying put where you are and making less money because you fit the scheme. A lot of times players jump ship because of the money, but they don't fit the scheme they're going to. Prime example, Josh Norman. When he was with the he was one of those corners that was great. He went over to the Washington football team. At the time was the Redskins. They were running a totally different scheme. He wasn't a man corner. He was a zone corner. And he had guys backing him. He had Luke Kuechly and a great Mike, what's his name? Mike Thomas. Was it Mike Thomas? No, what was the other linebacker? Davis.
Thomas Davis.
Yeah, you had Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly. So you had those guys, and then you had up front that good pass rush. You had the Julius Peppers. You had all of those guys that they had up, those Litany guys they had up front in that good front seven. So he could just jump everything. If you guys remember Josh Norman in Carolina, he had a lot of pick sixes where he was able to just jump routes in zone, in zone situations. He was playing basically in zones, and he could just jump routes. But when he went over to the Redskins, he didn't have that same success because they were a man corner type team. So, like I said, I don't think that Dante Fowler necessarily will, they're paying him or they have that actual incentive to try to hold it over his head. To be honest, if you be honest about it, they said that Dante Fowler took the pay cut because he could have said, you know what, I'm better than this. If the Falcons don't want me to, they want me to restructure and he wasn't willing to restructure like a Julio Jones. If he wasn't really willing to restructure, he could have went to another team. but he decided to stay put. But I think the reason he stayed put is because he feels like he can fit in Dean Pease's scheme. I think that's really what it was about.
Yeah.
I don't think it was about the money. I think he feels like he fits this scheme.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I just thought I'd add that little tidbit in there because you got certain people that might think like that, like, wait a minute, they might have paid him because they might not. They need an extra flame up his ass to get somewhere.
And maybe that
might got the slappy stick.
Yeah, maybe they ass need the slappy stick. Maybe they need the slappy stick. I don't create another KStylzz, boy. That's my damn problem.
Hey, look, I'm about to say, boy, that'd be like a Dazed and Confused.
You got the bell. You got the bell. I got the slappy stick.
and I got the. That's why we the heavy hitters, cause we crazy like that. Oh man. Let's see. We got any more questions?
We'll take a couple more questions. It's going on 2 hours, so we'll take a couple more questions before we close it.
Listen, I don't really see too much. I think we pretty much done covered.
Yeah, I think we've covered all.
I know Ted is asking the question. I know the record thing is kind of iffy about how we're gonna do it, but I don't know if you want to answer it or not.
That goes in predictions, and I think predictions is just stupid. I'm just gonna be honest. That shit is absolutely worthless. That's the dumbest shit that you can ever do as a football fan is predict, because we can't predict the future. We can't predict injury. We can't predict a guy falling down when he wide open and drop the ball. When he's wide open in the end zone, hint, 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 hint. We can't predict that type of shit. So I'll come down to it, man. I'll say this: the Falcons can't afford to get down 0-3 in the season, because it's gonna bring out that negativity. You gotta play. For me, I'll say this, and I'll kind of take that back just a little bit. The only way the Falcons will survive a 0-3 start is they lose games, where they're in it and they're competitive losses. You know what I mean? Like, they're not embarrassing losses, like you not falling on the ball and special teams. Like, if these are competitive, I think fans will be more reluctant, because we know that it's not a rebuilding, but they're still a young team. You know that these guys still need to be. You need to add a couple of players here and there. So it's like I don't necessarily think that the record matters. I think what matters most for this team is to see that improvement with the coaching staff.
I got a question for the panel. If we're not doing records, because we know last year I said we were going 12-4 and we end up going 4-12. So that just goes to show you what prediction gets you. Anyway, I just want to know, since we're in week 1, how about a score prediction for this game? And I'll give you guys my score prediction for this Eagles versus Falcons game. I'm thinking somewhere around 28, Falcons 28, Eagles 17. That's what I'm thinking that the score is going to be, somewhere around that range, because I don't see the Eagles putting up a lot of points, to be completely honest with you guys. I just think that their offense is going to be really, really vanilla. Like, they do have what's the kid that won the Heisman? They got Smitty on their team from Alabama.
What's his name? Devin Smith? Hold on.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae. Yeah. He's a really explosive player. And if he gets out in space, he's a guy that can make plays. But I think that this Falcons team is a very good tackling team, and I don't see him getting loose against this team. And like Mike said, he's talked about this numerous times in his breakdowns of Dean Pease's defenses. He hates giving up big explosive plays. And I don't see this Falcons team with a lot of these veteran guys that are in the starting rotation. I expect to see a lot of deep safeties. two safeties back. I don't expect to see a lot of, Dan Quinn loved to run that one single high safety, and that's why we were beat a lot deep. I don't see that happening with Dean Pease. I think he's just a fundamental type coach. I do expect him to bring pressure, but I don't expect Devontae Smith to be able to have a huge game against us, and that's the reason why I don't see the Eagles scoring more than 17. Unless their defense just goes crazy and they get a couple of touchdowns, a scoop and score, an interception for a touchdown, and a couple special teams, like a special teams touchdown, I can't see Jalen Hurts in that offense putting up big points against us. I think that they're going to be really, really vanilla, and they're going to try to slow the game down, what we said in our keys to victory, and I think that they're going to try to shorten the game because I think that they understand this Falcons offense is really explosive, and they're not going to want Atlanta to be out there controlling the ball and being out there on the field because they know that their defense is suspect, especially on that second and third level.
I'll go with that. I'll say 24-17 Falcons. I'll say 24-17. Because I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to see kind of like, I say like that first quarter is going to be kind of sputtery for both teams. Because especially with the Falcons going with a new scheme, new direction, new voices and all that stuff, that first quarter is going to be kind of spotty. But I think once that second quarter rolls around, it'll still be kind of close. It might be a couple field goals here and there. Like Philly might be up like 7-3 going in the second quarter, but I think that's when the Falcons going to catch steam and they're going to go off. So, yeah, I said 24-17 Falcons.
I'm gonna be bold here. And I just think that Matt Ryan got something to prove. I honestly believe that he got a big FU on his forehead, his shoulder pad, his numbers. He got the shirt, FU. He got the shoes, the socks, the shoelaces. He got the glasses with FU on it. That man got FU everywhere. All right. His swagger, you can see it the way he talks. You can see it the way he looking at looking at the reporters. This man is like, oh, y'all think Julio made me? Okay. All right. I got something for y'all ass. I just think Matt Ryan is more comfortable than he's ever been right now because he's not learning a new offense. He's learning new terminology. People got to understand the difference between, learning terminology and learning new plays. Matt Ryan has played in every offense. There's nothing he has not done in this NFL. There's no new terms that he can learn. Like all the scheme, he knows everything about the scheme. But he just needs to learn Arthur Smith and know how he calls play. That's it. And one thing that I think is going to be huge for the Falcons and Matt Ryan this year is that going back and doing research on Arthur Smith, I did see him running a lot of up-tempo with Tennessee. And if you allow Matt Ryan to do his Peyton Manning thing, your ass is grass. He is not. I think he's the second best up-tempo quarterback in the history of the game. There's nobody better than Peyton Manning when it comes down to up-tempo running that 2 minute, 4 minute off. I think Matt Ryan is right there with Peyton Manning. That dude is just it's like Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter. It don't matter what you do to him. He's going to get it done. So it's like I think Matt Ryan just has that big FU, and he's about to prove a lot of people wrong. Y'all thought he made me. I'm about to show you who the real OG is. I'm about to show you who the real Kobe is. I'm about to show you who the real Michael Jordan is. I'm about to show you who Steph is. I'm about to show you who LeBron is. I am that dude. I am on that level. I am a legend. I am great. All right. That's what Matt Ryan is. So I think he's going to come out the gate fired. I truly believe that Matt Ryan finna come out the damn gate firing. So I'm gonna say 28-14. I just don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I think he's absolute garbage. I'm just gonna be real. He can prove me wrong, but that dude ain't have no business being drafted in no second round. I've seen him in college. He's a check down artist, and when you got check down artists, you gotta have a defense. He's not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a former baseball player who was a pitcher, and he has a big time arm. That's not Jalen Hurts. He doesn't have a big time arm like that.
You just want to go ahead and close it out for tonight, man.
Let's get into the close out. Dude, you can kind of go. You go.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. The first episode of the Atlanta Falcons Heavy Hitters Season 2. Of course, we get one more regular season game this year, and hopefully we'll have some playoff games this year. Last season didn't turn out the way we wanted it in Season 1, but hopefully y'all get to hear the bell on Sunday, the victory bell, saying that we are 1-0. As Mike was saying, I completely agree with Mike. I feel like this young Falcons team needs to get out to a good start. The last 3 years we've started the season 0-1. I think that it would be very important for this team to get out to a good start, especially because Tampa's coming in week 2. And one thing that winning does is it gives young players confidence. Mm-hmm. Just as well as the fans, it gives us as fans confidence. Those young players that's on this defense and on this offense, when you start to win games, and we have a lot of rookies on this team, your confidence begins to build as you win games because you feel like, okay, the coaches are teaching me the right stuff in practice. Going through those walkthroughs and things of that nature, stuff starts to click with these players. So I think winning is nothing like they always say, nothing cures more than winning. Winning cures all. So I feel like if we start 1-0, that's going to give these guys a lot of confidence. If you start off 0-1 and you lose to a guy like Jalen Hurts, you're going into that second game with Tom Brady coming in and you're on eggshells, especially if you're a young player. Matt Ryan and those guys, they're not phased off of losing because they've seen the ups and the downs. But guys that are like just coming in and this their first rodeo, you want to get off to a fast start. Like Kyle Pitts, he wants to come off humming. That's why I was glad when he did that first little shallow, route in the preseason and he caught it. A lot of the times it's just doing the simple stuff like catching the ball. Because I don't know if you guys have been watching the guy Jamar Chase for the Bengals in preseason.
Lord have mercy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I hate to bring it up because I don't like to talk negatively about players, but I'm just saying he's had a rough preseason. It's because he has all those expectations. It's trying to live up to the expectations. So I hope that Kyle Pitts, gets off to a great start in this game and has a big game, so he'll be prepared going into week 2 where he'll have some confidence about himself. Like, okay, and even if we lose week 1, which I don't see it happening, but if we do lose week 1, like Mike was saying, it has to be a close game. Because if you come out and get obliterated by the Eagles going into week 2 and the defending champs coming in, you're gonna be on panic mode, especially as a young team. Like those rookies, they're gonna be in panic mode. I don't care what Arthur Smith says after the game. I don't care what they say in practice. Those young guys, eyes are gonna be wide if they lose week 1. So we really need to get off to a good start and have a competitive game in week 1. That's gonna be very important. And also with that being said, if you guys haven't hit that like button for us tonight, please go and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm not too sure if AFN, I don't believe we've hit 2,000 yet, but me, Atlanta Falcons Nation, and on my channel, TalkSports, I think I'm right now at almost 1,400 if I'm not mistaken. But I hadn't been able to put out a lot of content recently. It's been a couple of days since I put out content, but I'm gonna have a lot more content coming for you guys. So definitely hit the like and subscribe button for everybody here on the panel and at AFN, whether it's just KStylzz, who I think just hit you're almost at 500, right, KStylzz?
I got a little ways to go, but I'm right around 430.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he did. I know you just hit over 400. So y'all help KStylzz get to 500. Mad Mike, congrats. He just hit 6K and he on the road to 10K. Say, look, I'm trying to catch up to the OG. But like I said, man, I appreciate you guys. Definitely stay tuned. Every Tuesday night, we're gonna be coming with our keys to victory for both teams. So if you know some Eagles fans or you know the opposing team that we're playing that week, definitely tell them to tune in as well, because we're not just focusing on the Falcons, but we're also going to be now doing keys to victory for the opponent. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to KStylzz.
All right. Like I said, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Like I said, Jew already said it to the point, so I'm going to say it again. Like I said, y'all continue to support AFN. Make sure you support Jew, TalkSports. He's on the road to 2K right now, so he's got a little ways to go, but help him get there. You got Mad Mike Sports. He done already hit 6K. He done blew our asses out the water. So
hey, he the OG. Hey, the OG.
He the OG. So if it was the OG done got everybody together. So like I said, we appreciate him for taking us onto this journey as well with him. And like I said, y'all continue to support. I appreciate everybody subscribing, watching the videos, sharing them. Like I said, it's 6-man KStylzz. With 2 Z's. Hold on. So I want to bring it up here in the thing so they can really see it. It's 2 Z's. As you see on the screen, for those that might not know.
Right.
But like I said, heavy hitters every Tuesday. You got the 6-man convo Thursdays, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on what goes on. And like I said, kicking it with KStylzz is not dead. It's just not gonna be every week. But the concept that I got for that is y'all gonna have to put your seatbelts on for that one. We'll let you know in the future. But let me do this right. Continue to support your boys. That's all I ask. I thank you. And hold on. Hey, Mike was the orchestra man. Hey,
y'all just got a concert. But y'all just got a concert. What? Tell everybody. But y'all just got a concert for you.
Hey, Mike, I got a question. Hey, Mike, I got a question. Are we still gonna do the film study things for this season for him as well?
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. Oh man, yeah, we can definitely do that. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. He just brought something up. Dang, look. Hey man, we be so busy, man. I forget a lot of stuff.
Hey, I'm about to say we can mix it up with the Friday Night Madness. You get 2 shows in one.
Oh yeah. That sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. If they like it, hell, I'll do it. It don't matter to me.
All right. So the question is for everybody that might be in here, if y'all want the Friday night film study, you put the thumbs up. But let Mike go ahead and close it out for us.
I'll reiterate this over and over again. If your agenda is to simply troll, if your agenda is to doubt everything, this is not the platform for you. We like to think of ourselves as the positive brand for Atlanta Falcons, just for Atlanta Falcons fans. We don't have a lot of support as far as the media is concerned. They may give us 1 minute on ESPN. They may give us a couple of minutes on our own. Like even in our own state, they don't really cover us like that. So it's like even in our own state, we don't get a lot of love. So guess what? We got to be there here at Atlanta Falcons Nation. We ain't on that crap. We ain't on that negative stuff. We ain't on that, beefing, none of that type of stuff. We cover the Atlanta Falcons. We try to make we try to make it as good as it possibly can. Reason why I say that, because we just came from a season where it was just absolute hell. Nothing went right. So we're gonna try to make good even some of the worst situations. So that's what we do at Atlanta Falcons Nation. You guys continue to support us. Still on that quest for 10K, still on that quest for 5K for Atlanta Falcons Nation. Hell, I want everybody to be sitting at 5K, to be honest. Like, look, at the hell with 5K, I want everybody to be sitting at 10K. That's my ultimate goal. Everybody that's affiliated with Atlanta Falcons Nation, I want everybody to be sitting up at 10K so we can spread the positivity, spread our love and our support for our team. So with that being said, y'all ain't got to go home.
Chad Garrison said.
Whoa. Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, KStylzz. Damn. It's week one. It's week one. I gotta get my.
I see Chad Garrison talk about he made a donation. We didn't even see a damn donation.
Oh, I didn't see nothing.
Hey, we didn't see Chad. Is it the Cash App or something? I don't see jack shit. Ain't nothing pop up. I was wondering why everybody was getting at it with each other. I'm like, wait, we didn't even get that. Ain't no Chad Garrison. Fuck that shit. But like I said, we gonna fix it. Hey, if you donated, we apologize. We didn't see it. We try to get that fixed up.
I didn't see anything. Hold up. Let me see if I can from it.
Oh Lord, see now Mike got to get up out of his seat to get that. See, we supposed to close it out the right way. Do I need to give him another sponsor?
That's it. Well, we good, man. Okay. Because I did not see anything. If we missed it, we sincerely apologize. We surely did not see anything.
Okay, yeah. So, well, we thought. But like I said, what we're gonna say is, AFN, we ain't here to play. We here to stay. You ain't gotta go home.
But you gotta get the hell out of here.
I do. God damn, that shit hurt.